Imagine someone publicly humiliates you. Your heart races. Your face grows hot. Everyone waits for your response. In that single moment, one decision determines whether you lose your power or become untouchable. Most people think the strongest response is the loudest one. Marcus Aurelius believed the opposite. Today, you'll discover 3 Stoic responses so powerful that they don't just silence insults. They make them lose all power over you. The third response is the one Roman emperors practiced because it destroys an insult before it ever reaches your peace of mind. If you're tired of letting other people's words control your emotions, subscribe. Every week we explore timeless Stoic wisdom that helps you build a calmer, stronger mind. There is a prison that has no walls, no iron bars, no locked doors. And yet millions of people wake up inside it every single morning without ever realizing they're trapped. It's the prison of other people's opinions. Think back to a moment that still lingers in your memory. Perhaps you were in a meeting at work. You finally gathered the courage to share an idea you'd spent days preparing. Before you could even finish, someone laughed. "That's never going to work." The room fell silent. Some people looked down at their desks. Others forced an awkward smile. Your heart began to pound. In an instant, your confidence disappeared. Long after everyone else had forgotten the conversation, you replayed that single sentence again and again in your mind. Or maybe it wasn't at work. Maybe it was someone you trusted. A friend who disguised an insult as a joke. "Don't take it personally. I'm just being honest." Everyone laughed. You laughed too. But deep inside, something tightened. A question quietly formed in your mind. Do they really see me that way? That single thought followed you home. It echoed through the rest of your day. And without noticing, you began changing yourself just to avoid hearing those words again. Sometimes the voices come from even closer. A parent questions your dreams. A sibling compares your life to someone else's. A relative asks why you're still chasing goals they believe you'll never reach. They may think they're offering advice, but their words become heavy chains that wrap around your confidence. Then there is the modern battlefield, the internet. A place where complete strangers, people who know nothing about your struggles, your sacrifices, or your character, feel entitled to define your worth with a single comment. One sentence. One insult. One careless opinion. And somehow, it steals your peace for the rest of the day. Isn't that strange? A stranger you've never met. Someone whose face you'll probably never see. Can occupy your thoughts for hours. Maybe even days. But here's the question almost nobody asks. Why? Why can a few words from another human being have such incredible power over our emotions? Is it because insults are truly powerful? Or because we've unknowingly handed them that power ourselves? This is the illusion most people never escape. They believe their suffering comes from the insult. But the Stoics saw something completely different. The insult is only the spark. The real fire begins inside the mind. Think about it carefully. Imagine 2 people hear the exact same insult. One explodes with anger. The other smiles calmly and continues walking. The words were identical. So why were the outcomes completely different? Because the pain wasn't created by the words. It was created by the meaning each person assigned to those words. That realization changes everything. The human mind is astonishing. It can transform a simple opinion into a personal attack. A passing comment into a lifelong insecurity. A stranger's criticism into a permanent wound. Most people spend years trying to silence every critic they meet. The Stoics chose something far more powerful. They learned to silence the inner judge that keeps replaying every insult long after the speaker has forgotten it. And no one understood this better than Marcus Aurelius. Imagine carrying the weight of an entire empire on your shoulders. Every decision you make is watched. Every mistake is magnified. Every victory creates new enemies. Every failure gives your critics another reason to attack. Marcus Aurelius wasn't simply criticized. He was judged by senators hungry for power, questioned by generals, betrayed by people he trusted, mocked by those who believed kindness was weakness. Whispers spread through the streets of Rome. Rumors traveled faster than truth. People doubted his leadership. Others questioned his strength. Some even waited for him to fail. Now imagine living every single day knowing thousands of people are discussing your every move. How many of us could remain calm under that kind of pressure? How many would desperately try to defend ourselves? How many sleepless nights will we spend replaying every insult? Yet when Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, words that would later become known as meditations, he rarely obsessed over proving his critics wrong. Instead, he turned inward. Again and again, he reminded himself that another person's opinion could never corrupt his character unless he allowed it. He understood something so profound that it still challenges us nearly 2,000 years later. Reputation belongs to other people. Character belongs to you. History proves this truth in the most remarkable way. Ask yourself this. Can you name the people who mocked Marcus Aurelius? The politicians who insulted him? The voices that tried to tear him down? Most cannot. Time erased them. But Marcus Aurelius is still remembered. Not because he defeated every critic. Not because he won every argument. But because he refused to let bitterness shape the kind of man he became. That is the difference. Critics chase moments. Character outlives generations. And perhaps that's the lesson we've forgotten. Every day, we surrender pieces of our peace to people who haven't earned that power. We allow passing opinions to determine permanent emotions. We measure our worth using someone else's ruler. Without realizing it, we become prisoners guarding a cell whose door has been open all along. But what if there was another way? What if the greatest response to an insult isn't defending yourself at all? What if true strength begins the moment you stop fighting for the approval of people who have already decided not to understand you? That sounds almost impossible. Especially in a world that tells us to answer every insult, win every argument, and never let anyone have the last word. Yet this is exactly where Stoicism begins. Because the first response Marcus Aurelius would teach isn't louder. It isn't sharper. And it certainly isn't more aggressive. In fact, it's probably the exact opposite of what you've been taught. And once you understand it, you'll never hear insults the same way again. Imagine the moment again. The insult has just landed. The room suddenly feels smaller. Your heartbeat grows louder. Your muscles tighten. Your jaw locks. Your mind begins racing faster than you can control. Did they really just say that? Within seconds, another voice appears. Say something. Don't let them disrespect you. If you stay quiet, they'll think you're weak. This is the battlefield where most people lose. Not because the insult was devastating, but because they never realized the real battle had already moved inside their own mind. The person who insulted you may have spoken for only 3 seconds. Yet inside your head, a storm has already begun. Your emotions demand immediate justice. Your pride demands revenge. Your ego whispers, "Make them regret saying that." And before reason has a chance to speak, the words come rushing out. Your voice becomes louder. Your face grows tense. Your breathing becomes shallow. Perhaps you fire back with an even harsher insult. Maybe you slam the door. Maybe you send a message you'll wish you could erase only minutes later. Or perhaps you spend the next several hours mentally replaying the argument, inventing better responses long after the moment has passed. How many nights have been stolen this way? How many friendships have quietly ended because either person paused long enough to think? How many careers have been damaged by a sentence spoken in anger? The tragedy is that the insult itself often lasts only a moment. The reaction, that can last for years. Now picture another scene. The insult is exactly the same. The words are no kinder. The intention is no less cruel. But something extraordinary happens. The person being insulted doesn't react. Not immediately. There is no raised voice. No angry expression. No desperate attempt to defend their pride. Instead, silence. Only a single breath. One quiet moment that almost nobody notices. To an outside observer, it looks insignificant. But inside that brief pause, something remarkable is taking place. Emotion is no longer in command. Reason has entered the conversation. This was one of the Stoics' greatest discoveries. They understood that between what happens to us and how we respond, there is always a space. A space so small that most people never notice it. Yet within that space lies every possibility. Marcus Aurelius knew this better than anyone. As emperor, he couldn't afford emotional reactions. Imagine if every insult from a senator provoked his anger. Imagine if every rumor spread to Rome became a personal battle. Imagine if every criticism demanded immediate revenge. Rome would have descended into chaos. Instead, Marcus trained himself to delay reaction. Not because he lacked emotion, but because he understood something most people never learn. Emotion is a terrible leader when it arrives first. He reminded himself that events themselves are not what disturb us. It is our judgment about them. That single insight changed everything. The insult arrives. Your judgment follows. Then your emotion grows. Break that sequence, and you break the insult's power. Think of a skilled archer. He doesn't release the arrow the instant he touches the bowstring. He steadies his breath. He settles his body. He waits until his aim becomes clear. The Stoic treats words the same way. Instead of releasing anger instantly, he steadies the mind. He waits. Because clarity always arrives more slowly than emotion. This doesn't mean becoming cold. It doesn't mean pretending the insult doesn't hurt. Stoicism never asks you to deny your humanity. It asks you to govern it. There is an enormous difference. Even the strongest minds feel anger. Even the wisest hearts experience pain. The difference is that they refuse to let those emotions make decisions on their behalf. Imagine someone throwing a burning coal into your hands. Your first instinct is to squeeze it tightly. But what happens then? You become the one who gets burned. Anger works exactly the same way. The insult is the burning coal. Your reaction determines whether you hold on to it or simply let it fall. So how do you practice this in real life? It begins with something so simple that most people overlook it. The next time someone insults you, don't answer immediately. Take one slow breath. Feel your feet against the ground. Notice your heartbeat. Observe the anger rising inside you without trying to suppress it. Say silently to yourself, I notice the anger. Not, I am the anger. That tiny difference creates distance. And in that distance, freedom begins. Ask yourself one question. Do I want this emotion to choose my next sentence? Most of the time, the answer is no. Because once the storm passes, you'll often discover that what felt urgent was never important. This is not weakness. It is discipline. The loudest person in the room often appears powerful. But appearances deceive. Real strength is measured by what you choose not to say. Real courage is sometimes found in the sentence you never speak. And real freedom begins the moment another person's anger no longer dictates your behavior. Notice what happens after you pause. The insult doesn't disappear. But something else does. Its urgency. Its control. Its ability to drag you into someone else's emotional chaos. For the first time, you are no longer reacting. You are choosing. And that choice quietly changes everything. But don't mistake silence for the final lesson. Many people stay silent while secretly carrying resentment for years. Their mouths become quiet. Yet their minds continue arguing long after everyone else has forgotten the conflict. The Stoics knew that mastering your reaction was only the beginning. because remaining silent isn't enough. The second Stoic response changes something even deeper. It changes the way you see the insult itself. And once that shift happens, the words that once wounded you begin to lose their power completely. The first Stoic response teaches you to pause. But what happens after the silence? This is where most people make a second mistake. They stop themselves from reacting, yet they continue believing every painful word they hear. The argument may have ended, but inside their mind, another one has just begun. The voice of the critic slowly becomes their own. Maybe they're right. Maybe I really am not good enough. Maybe everyone sees me this way. And without realizing it, they become both the victim and the judge. This is why the second Stoic response is even more powerful than the first. Because once your emotions become quiet, your mind is finally capable of asking the question that changes everything. Not, how do I prove them wrong? Not, how do I get revenge? But something far simpler. Something almost disarmingly calm. Is it true? At first, that question seems too ordinary to matter. Yet hidden inside it is a kind of freedom that very few people ever discover. Imagine someone looks directly at you and says, "You're weak." The old version of yourself immediately prepares a defense. "No, I'm not. You don't even know me. Who are you to judge me?" Your heart begins racing. Your thoughts become louder than their words. But the Stoic refuses to rush. Instead, he quietly examines the statement. Am I weak? Not with shame. Not with fear. But with honesty. If the answer is yes, then something remarkable happens. The insult loses its identity. It is no longer an attack. It becomes information. Painful, perhaps. Uncomfortable, certainly. But useful. Imagine looking into a mirror before leaving your home. If the mirror reveals dirt on your face, you don't become angry with the reflection. You simply wash your face. Truth works the same way. If someone exposes a genuine weakness in your character, they've unknowingly pointed you toward an opportunity for growth. Why waste energy defending what you could improve? Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. Again and again, he reminded himself to welcome correction if it led him closer to virtue. He never believed that admitting imperfection made a person smaller. He believed refusing to learn was the real weakness. Think about how unusual that is. Most people spend enormous amounts of energy protecting their image. Marcus Aurelius spent his energy improving his character. To him, there was a profound difference. Image depends on other people. Character depends on you. Now imagine another situation. Someone calls you foolish. You pause. You examine yourself honestly. You reflect on your actions. And after careful thought, you realize the accusation isn't true. Perhaps you've acted with wisdom. Perhaps you've done your best. Perhaps the criticism comes from misunderstanding, jealousy, or anger. Then what? Now the insult changes once again. It no longer becomes feedback. It becomes noise. Think of standing beside a busy road. Hundreds of cars pass every hour. Engines roar. Horns sound. Voices echo. Do you stop and react to every noise? Of course not. Because you've learned that not every sound deserves your attention. The Stoics believed opinions should be treated the same way. Not every voice deserves space inside your mind. Just because someone speaks doesn't mean you must listen. Just because someone judges doesn't mean they understand. Just because someone insults doesn't mean they've described reality. This realization is incredibly liberating. Because suddenly you understand something you were never taught. You are not obligated to carry every opinion someone throws at you. Picture a traveler walking through an ancient Roman marketplace. Merchants shout from every direction. One praises his goods. Another criticizes a competitor. A stranger calls out insults simply to provoke a reaction. The wise traveler doesn't stop at every voice. He continues toward his destination. Why? Because he already knows where he's going. The Stoics believed life should be lived the same way. The clearer your purpose becomes, the quieter unnecessary opinions begin to sound. Marcus Aurelius practiced this relentlessly. Before examining another person's faults, he examined his own, not because he hated himself, but because self-awareness was more valuable than self-defense. Every evening, he reflected on his choices. Where had he acted with patience? Where had anger taken control? Where had pride clouded his judgment? This wasn't self-criticism. It was self-education. You're no longer reacting to appearances. You're searching for truth. That is the turning point. Most people spend their lives trying to silence every critic. The Stoic asks only one question. Is there truth here? If the answer is yes, grow. If the answer is no, walk away. Nothing more is required. And with that single habit, an enormous weight begins to disappear from your shoulders. Yet even this isn't the highest expression of Stoicism. Because you can pause. You can examine the truth. And still allow insults to disturb your inner peace. There is one final response. The one Marcus Aurelius practiced during the darkest moments of his reign. It doesn't merely help you survive insults. It changes your relationship with them forever. Once you understand it, insults no longer feel like attacks. There is one final lesson. And if the first two responses taught you how to control your reactions, this one teaches you how to become almost impossible to wound. Not because the world suddenly becomes kinder. Not because criticism disappears. But because you finally understand where your peace truly comes from. Most people spend their entire lives believing that peace is something other people can give them. Respect me. Approve of me. Speak well of me. Treat me fairly. And then I'll be happy. But hidden inside that belief is a dangerous bargain. Because the moment your peace depends on another person's behavior, it no longer belongs to you. You've handed the keys to your inner world to someone else. And few people realize they've done it. Imagine carrying a beautiful lantern through the darkness. Its flame is steady. Its light is warm. It guides every step you take. Now imagine that every stranger you meet is allowed to blow on that flame. Some blow gently. Others try with all their strength. Soon, you're no longer protecting the lantern. You're chasing people, begging them not to extinguish your light. That is how many people live. Every compliment brightens their day. Every criticism darkens it. Every insult determines how they feel about themselves. Their emotions rise and fall with the opinions of people they barely know. They call this confidence. The Stoics called it slavery. Because anyone who can control your emotions controls your life. Marcus Aurelius refused to live that way. Yet his circumstances gave him every reason to. Picture Rome at the height of its power. Towering marble columns. Crowded forums. Military commanders returning from distant wars. Politicians whispering in hidden chambers. Servants carrying messages through endless palace corridors. From the outside, it looked like the center of the civilized world. But beneath that beauty lived constant tension. Every decision Marcus Aurelius made created both supporters and enemies. If taxes increased, someone called him unjust. If he showed mercy, others called him weak. If he led the army into battle, some claimed he was reckless. If he remained cautious, others accused him of cowardice. No matter what choice he made, someone disapproved. Someone criticized. Someone spread another rumor. Imagine waking each morning knowing thousands of people would judge everything you did before the day was over. Imagine hearing whispers every time you entered a room. Imagine never knowing whether praise was sincere or simply another political game. Many rulers before him became consumed by this pressure. Some silenced critics through fear. Others became obsessed with protecting their reputation. Many allowed their wounded pride to make cruel decisions. History remembers countless powerful men who lost themselves trying to control what other people thought. Marcus Aurelius chose another path. A quieter one. A stronger one. He understood a truth so simple that it almost sounds unbelievable. Another person's opinion could never make him unjust. Another person's insult could never make him dishonorable. Another person's hatred could never make him a lesser man. Only his own choices possess that power. Pause for a moment and let that sink in. If someone calls an honest person a liar, has honesty disappeared? If someone calls a courageous person weak, has courage vanished? If someone insults the mountains, do the mountains become smaller? Reality doesn't change because someone misunderstands it. Character doesn't disappear because someone refuses to recognize it. Only appearances change. This is why Marcus devoted so much attention to his own conduct. He knew that reputation belonged to the crowd. Character belonged to the soul. One could be stolen overnight. The other could only be surrendered willingly. Yet this is exactly where so many people lose themselves. Not because they lack ability. Not because they lack intelligence. But because they crave something that can never fully satisfy them. Approval. Think about how often your mood has changed because of another person's opinion. One compliment makes you feel valuable. One criticism makes you question yourself. One insult ruins an otherwise beautiful day. One sarcastic remark follows you into the night. Little by little, your happiness becomes outsourced. You no longer decide your worth. The crowd does. And crowds are unpredictable. Please one group. Another will reject you. Win today's applause. Tomorrow they'll demand something different. Seek validation long enough, and you'll spend your entire life chasing shadows. The Stoics saw this trap long before social media. Today, the temptation is even greater. A single post receives praise from hundreds of strangers. Then one harsh comment appears. Which one does your mind remember? Almost always, the criticism. Why? Because the human mind naturally clings to perceived threats. The insult feels urgent. Approval fades quickly. And so the chase never ends. But imagine another way to live. Imagine waking tomorrow without needing universal approval. Imagine doing what is right even when nobody applauds. Imagine remaining calm while others misunderstand you. Imagine speaking honestly without fearing every disagreement. Wouldn't that feel like freedom? This is the freedom Marcus Aurelius practiced. Not freedom from criticism. Freedom from dependence on criticism. There is an enormous difference. One cannot be controlled. The other can. Now consider every insult you've ever received. Look beyond the words. Look beneath the emotion. Each one carried an invisible question. Who will decide your value? The person speaking? Or the person listening? That question appears every single time someone insults you. Not always with loud voices. Sometimes quietly. Almost invisibly. But it is always there. And every time you make a choice. Most people never realize they are choosing. They instinctively defend their pride. They argue. They explain. They seek revenge. They replay conversations. They carry bitterness for years. All because the ego desperately wants to win. But the Stoic asks a different question. What exactly am I protecting? Is it my character? Or merely my image? Because those two things are not the same. Your image exists inside other people's minds. Your character exists inside your own actions. One changes constantly. The other is built choice by choice. Day by day. Moment by moment. This is why every insult ultimately offers only two paths. You can protect your ego. Or you can protect your peace. Protecting the ego often feels satisfying, for a moment. winning the argument, having the last word, proving someone wrong, watching them fall silent. But notice how quickly that satisfaction fades. Soon another critic appears, another disagreement, another insult, another battle. The war never ends. Peace, however, is different. Peace doesn't require victory over another person. It requires mastery over yourself. It asks nothing from the crowd. It depends on no applause. It survives criticism. It survives misunderstanding. It even survives hatred. Because its foundation is no longer built on opinions. It is built on character. And that is the greatest Stoic response of all. When someone insults you, they are not offering you pain. They are offering you a decision. Will you surrender your peace? Or will you keep it? The answer to that question determines far more than the outcome of one conversation. It determines the kind of person you become. Because the greatest victory is not defeating your critic. It is becoming someone whose inner world can no longer be ruled by one. And when that happens, insults don't simply hurt less. They become reminders of a freedom that no one can ever take away. Something has changed. Not in the world around you. People will still criticize. Some will misunderstand your intentions. Others will judge your choices without knowing your story. There will always be those who mistake your silence for weakness, your kindness for naivety, or your confidence for arrogance. The world has not become gentler, but perhaps you have become stronger, and that changes everything. For most of our lives, we've been taught that strength looks a certain way. It raises its voice. It delivers the perfect comeback. It wins every argument. It refuses to let anyone have the last word. We admire those who can silence a room with sharp words and quick wit. We mistake domination for confidence. But Stoicism quietly asks a different question. If your peace depends on defeating someone else, have you really won? Imagine standing in front of a mirror after a heated argument. Perhaps you proved your point. Perhaps everyone agreed with you. Perhaps the other person walked away speechless. Yet as you look into your own eyes, something still feels unsettled. The conversation is over. But inside your mind, it continues. You replay every sentence. You wonder if you should have said more. You imagine different endings. You carry the weight of a battle that no longer exists. Now imagine another ending. Someone insults you. You pause. You examine their words honestly. You keep what is true. You release what is false. Then you continue living your life with quiet purpose. No bitterness. No obsession. No need to prove your worth. Which person is truly free? The one who won the argument, or the one who never surrendered their peace? This is the moment where Stoicism reveals its deepest lesson. The goal was never to become impossible to insult. That would require controlling every person you meet. And no human being has that power. The real goal is far greater. To become impossible to control. Think about those words. Impossible. To control. Imagine walking through life carrying an anchor deep within your soul. Storms come. Waves rise. Voices shout from every direction. People praise you one day and criticize you the next. Yet the anchor remains. It holds. Not because the sea has become calm, but because your center no longer depends on the sea. That is the person the Stoics hope to become. Not emotionless. Not indifferent. But deeply rooted. Able to feel anger without becoming angry. Able to hear criticism without becoming consumed by it. Able to experience pain without allowing pain to become identity. Marcus Aurelius understood this better than perhaps anyone in history. Every sunrise brought new responsibilities, new conflicts, new betrayals, new criticism. Yet before facing the world, he reminded himself that he alone was responsible for the condition of his own mind. Not the senators, not the soldiers, not the crowds gathered in Rome, Not even the people who wish to see him fail. Only him. Imagine beginning each morning with that same understanding. No one can decide whether today becomes a good day except the choices you make. No stranger. No coworker. No family member. No anonymous comment hidden behind a screen. Suddenly, life feels lighter. Not because problems disappear, but because you stop carrying burdens that were never yours. The need to impress everyone. The fear of disappointing someone. The constant pressure to explain yourself. The endless desire to be understood by people committed to misunderstanding you. One by one, those chains begin to fall away. And in their place, something unexpected appears. Relief. A quiet, steady relief. The exhausting battle for approval finally begins to end. Then comes confidence. Not the loud confidence that demands attention, but the silent confidence that no longer needs it. The confidence of knowing who you are when nobody is watching. The confidence that grows from keeping promises to yourself rather than collecting praise from others. Soon after comes freedom. The kind of freedom money cannot buy. The kind no title can provide. The freedom of walking away from unnecessary battles. The freedom of remaining calm when chaos invites you in. The freedom of choosing your response instead of surrendering it. And with freedom comes something even rarer. Calm. Not temporary comfort. Not the calm that exists only when life is easy, but a deeper stillness. The kind that survives criticism. The kind that remains even when people misunderstand you. The kind that whispers, "I know who I am." Finally, strength. Not physical strength. Not the strength to overpower another person, but the strength to master yourself. Because in the end, the greatest opponent you will ever face has never been your critics. It has always been the voice inside you that believed them. The Stoics fought that battle every day. And so must we. Each insult is no longer an attack. It is an opportunity. An opportunity to practice patience instead of impulse. Wisdom instead of pride. Character instead of image. Freedom instead of fear. This is why your dignity can never be given to you by another person. And it can never be taken away by one either. Dignity is not built through applause. It is not earned by winning arguments. It does not grow stronger because strangers approve of your choices. True dignity is built quietly. In the unseen moments. When no one is clapping. When no one is watching. When every part of you wants to react. But you choose principle instead. When every emotion demands revenge. But you choose peace. When every instinct tells you to defend your ego. But you choose your character. That is where dignity is born. And once you discover that truth, something extraordinary happens. The opinions that once haunted your mind begin to fade into the distance. The voices that once kept you awake at night lose their authority. The insults that once felt like weapons become nothing more than passing echoes carried away by the wind. Because you finally understand what Marcus Aurelius understood nearly 2,000 years ago. Your value has never lived in another person's opinion. It has always lived in the way you choose to live. Live with integrity. Act with wisdom. Treat others with justice. Master your emotions. Guard your character. And eventually, something remarkable happens. People's words may still reach your ears, but they no longer reach your soul. That is the quiet strength of Stoicism. That is true freedom. And that is a victory no insult can ever take away. As our journey comes to an end, take a moment to reflect on how far you've traveled. We began with a simple question. Why do words from another person have the power to disturb our peace? At first, the answer seemed obvious. Because insults hurt. Because criticism is painful. Because being misunderstood feels deeply personal. But the Stoics invite us to look beneath the surface. They remind us that while we cannot control what others choose to say, we are never powerless over what we choose to become. That is where real freedom begins. Not in changing the world, but in changing our relationship with it. And if there is one lesson that echoes through the life of Marcus Aurelius, it is this. The strongest fortress you will ever build is not around your body. It is around your mind. Let's return to the 3 responses we've uncovered together. The first response. Pause before you react. When an insult strikes, resist the urge to answer immediately. Take one breath. One moment of silence. One small pause between emotion and action. Because in that brief space, reason has the chance to step forward. And when reason leads instead of anger, you stop becoming a prisoner of impulse. The second response. Ask yourself, is it true? Not every criticism deserves your pain. If there is truth within the words, accept it with humility and let it make you stronger. If there is no truth, let it pass like the wind. Why carry a burden that was never yours? Truth deserves your attention. Noise does not. And finally, the third response. The most difficult. The most powerful. Never surrender your inner peace to another person's opinion. People will judge you. Some will misunderstand your intentions. Others will criticize you no matter how honestly you live. That is part of being human. But your peace was never meant to be placed in their hands. Your character is yours to protect. Your choices are yours to make. Your peace is yours to keep. Remember Marcus Aurelius. Surrounded by political rivals. Questioned by powerful men. Burdened by responsibilities most of us can scarcely imagine. Yet through every challenge, he returned to one simple truth. No rumor could define him. No insult could diminish him. No opinion could change who he truly was. Only his own actions carried that power. Imagine what your life could look like if you embraced that same mindset. Imagine entering difficult conversations without fear. Imagine hearing criticism without losing sleep. Imagine walking away from arguments that no longer deserve your energy. Imagine no longer measuring your worth by the approval of strangers. That is not weakness. It is one of the highest forms of strength. Because true strength is rarely loud. It doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't seek revenge. It doesn't chase the final word. It remains calm while chaos demands a reaction. It remains disciplined when emotion urges retaliation. It remains steady when the world tries to pull it in every direction. That is the quiet power the Stoics spent their lives cultivating. And every time you choose reason instead of impulse, every time you choose wisdom instead of pride, every time you protect your peace instead of your ego, you become a little more difficult to manipulate, a little more resilient, a little more free. Perhaps that is the greatest lesson of all. An insult is only as powerful as the value you choose to give it. The words may come from another person, but the power belongs to you. Never forget that. Because the moment you remember where that power truly resides, you begin living on your own terms instead of everyone else's. Marcus Aurelius once showed us that a peaceful mind is stronger than the loudest argument. His example still challenges us today. Not to control other people, but to master ourselves. And maybe, the next time someone tries to provoke you, you'll remember this conversation. You'll pause. You'll search for truth. You'll protect your peace. And in that quiet moment, without saying a single word, you'll discover a strength that no insult can ever reach. Because in the end, the person who controls your emotions controls your life. The moment you stop handing others that power is the moment you become truly free. If this message spoke to you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Which of these 3 Stoic responses do you find the hardest to practice? And why? Share your answer in the comments below. Your experience may encourage someone else who is facing the very same struggle. And if you're on a journey to master your emotions, build unshakable discipline, and apply timeless Stoic wisdom to modern life, make sure you subscribe and join us for the next lesson. Until then, remember, guard your character, protect your peace, and let your actions speak louder than any insult ever could.